What's going on, everybody? GoodMicWork commentaries back at you with another edition of The One-Off. This episode is going to be your early Extreme Rules 2018 pay-per-view predictions video. I have mentioned at least in my last 4 or 5 episodes that I am currently on vacation. I will be out of town from July 8th until July 16th, which means I won't be here for the go-home Raw or SmackDown shows or the Extreme Rules pay-per-view itself. Won't be home for any of that. I'm going to be on the East Coast. So as of right now, my flight is expected to be back here in California on the morning of the 16th, which is Monday after Extreme Rules. Provided everything goes well and I have no delays, I will come up live on YouTube after Monday Night Raw. Not during. I seriously doubt I'm going to have the energy to do a live Raw watch along, but immediately after the post Extreme Rules Monday Night Raw, tune into the YouTube channel and I will be up here live streaming, discussing what took place at Extreme Rules and, of course, everything that we saw on Monday Night Raw. As of the recording of this commentary, I have 9 matches listed according to WWE.com for this pay-per-view. After the go-home shows for Raw and SmackDown, it's possible they could add 1 or 2 more. So I will maybe mention and predict those speculated matches, and I'll also predict the confirmed matches as well. And just as a reminder for Extreme Rules, the pay-per-view, I would really appreciate it if you guys can hook me up with some updates on Twitter. I'm not sure if I'm going to get a chance to take a look at the pay-per-view or not. I don't even know what my plans are going to be that day, but I've got my phone on me at all times. If I can pull up the pay-per-view on my phone and at least try to eyeball it, I will do my best, but Twitter updates would be a huge help. So if you want to give me a follow on Twitter, that would be great. You can find me at GoodMicWork, and I do tend to tweet when I'm on vacation, so I will be active on social media, but there will be no live streams or nothing else on YouTube. But luckily, you guys are going to have lots of videos while I'm gone. I have pre-recorded this commentary. You're getting this prior to the go-home Monday Night Raw, probably just a few hours before Raw airs. I will have this scheduled to be released on the channel, and then I've got a couple of mic drop episodes scheduled to be released every single day while I'm gone. So while I'm out of town, you're going to get somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 12 uploads on the channel. So besides the live streams and shit, and my presence during Extreme Rules and my post pay-per-view commentaries, aside from me not doing that, you probably won't even notice that I'm gone, because the YouTube channel is going to have a consistent stream of content while I'm away. So that is the plan as of right now for next week, and hopefully if all goes well, I will be back up here Monday night on the 16th for a live stream. Let's get into my pay-per-view predictions. Now, because I'm recording this prior to the go-home Raw and SmackDown shows, usually I like to wait until all of those shows are done before I try to predict what happens here. So I'm kind of just going to wing this thing here and just pick some predictions out of my ass and see how I do. Let's start with the bottom of the card. The most recent match that has been announced for this pay-per-view is Finn Balor versus Constable Corbin. That was set up last week on Monday Night Raw. The two of them have had an issue the past few weeks on TV. A lot of complaints right now about Finn Balor. He really seems to be stalling and stale. We have no earthly idea what the hell happened to the Demon character. He hasn't been around, I think, since last year when he took on AJ Styles. That's the last time I remember seeing him. So I don't know what they're doing with Finn Balor. He's just, he's floundering. He's literally doing nothing. I thought he should have been moved over to SmackDown in the draft or the brand extension or the shakeup or whatever the fuck it's called. But he stayed on Raw and he's just doing nothing. The Demon character is so fun and over the top and awesome, and Finn Balor is so plain and bland and stale and some say boring. I like Finn Balor. I defend Finn Balor. A lot of people refer to him as that extremely overused vanilla midget term that I fucking hate. But I do agree that there are a lot of issues with Finn Balor, and this guy is a former Universal Champion, and the WWE is literally doing nothing with him at all. So maybe they've got plans for him later down the road. Maybe once Brock Lesnar drops the title, he can get some title shots in the future, and maybe hopefully we will see the Demon again one day. But as of right now, he's plain old Finn Balor, and he's got Constable Corbin in a match at Extreme Rules. As far as who wins that one, I don't know. I'm certainly not predicting this as with any confidence, because I really don't know who's going to win, considering Baron Corbin's recent gimmick change. Part of me thinks he's going to get the victory there, but just out of pure spite for WWE not doing anything with Finn Balor, I'm going to predict him to win here. He better. If Finn Balor somehow loses to Baron Corbin here, then I don't know where he goes from here. Now, granted, if Finn Balor does take a loss here, I seriously doubt it will be clean. Don't forget Baron Corbin is kind of in an authority role right now, so he could maybe pull some shit. He might have a trick up his sleeve to steal a victory here, and then they can work again at SummerSlam. For this match, I'm just going to go ahead and predict Finn Balor to pick up the victory there. The Raw tag team titles are on the line. Woken Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt taking on the B team. I'm going to go with Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt to retain here. Hopefully Bray Wyatt is okay and healed up from his injury sustained in that recent car accident that he had. So barring any additional injury, I don't see why Matt and Bray should at least drop the belts right now. I like the B team. I think they're funny, but I don't know. I just don't see them as tag team champions, at least right now. I think the tag team title shot came relatively quickly for the B team. And plus, you got a lot of other teams on Raw right now, like the Revival, who have been working with top guys recently, and the Authors of Pain are back on TV, and they're going to get a run. So the B team, as much as I like them, they don't seem like they fit in to WWE's tag team plans, at least championship plans at the moment. So I'm going to predict Matt and Bray to retain the titles there. The SmackDown tag team titles are also on the line, with the Bludgeon Brothers taking on Team Hell No. And I like the Bludgeon Brothers. I like them as tag team champions. I like the WWE investing in making this team seem unstoppable, unbeatable, and like a couple of monsters. And they've succeeded in that. But now they're taking on Daniel Bryan, one of the most over guys in the history of WWE, and Kane, another legend. And considering that team and the star power on Team Hell No, I'm thinking that they're going to take the belts. Daniel Bryan's future is still a little bit up in the air. There hasn't been any word, at least that I have seen, about any sort of a contract extension for Daniel Bryan. Word on the street is that his contract is up at the end of the summer, sometime in September. So if he does or does not resign, I'm assuming he will, but if he has not resigned yet, this is a feud that kind of seems like it's killing time until they figure out what to do with Daniel Bryan. So if they want to make him tag team champions with Kane, just to buy some time until they finally get Daniel Bryan into the world title picture on SmackDown, that seems likely here. So I'm going to reluctantly pick Team Hell No to get the victory here, unless for some reason Kane turns heel and attacks Daniel Bryan, leading to a one-on-one feud between them or some shit. I really don't know, but wouldn't be surprised at all if Team Hell No took the tag team titles here. So I'm going to predict them to become the new SmackDown tag team champions. We've got the United States title on the line as well. Champion Jeff Hardy taking on Shinsuke Nakamura. This match was supposed to take place a few weeks ago on SmackDown, but Shinsuke Nakamura got bitten by a fucking police dog. You can't make that shit up. So he had to be out of action for a couple of weeks, and now he's getting the title match against Jeff Hardy. No stipulation that I have seen in this match. It's just a straight one-on-one match. There's really nothing extreme about this card at all. According to my notes here, there's only one Extreme Rules match announced, and there's an Iron Man match as well, but there's nothing else here that even closely resembles anything like Extreme Rules. These are not hardcore matches, they're just matches, so I don't even know why this pay-per-view is called Extreme Rules. But Jeff Hardy, I believe, will drop the belt here to Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke came up short in like all 6 of his title matches against AJ Styles. If he now gets swanton bombed and pinned by Jeff Hardy in this match, what the hell does he do? Go back to NXT? Jeff Hardy also, there's been some talk of him being banged up in his own right. Jeff is getting up there in age, and they might not want to risk Jeff Hardy getting hurt and having to forfeit the title or anything like that. So taking it off of him here in a match with Shinsuke seems like the right move. So I'm going to predict Shinsuke Nakamura to win the U.S. title. It's possible Jeff Hardy retains and they do another match at SummerSlam. If it was up to me, I think I would just do the title switch right here, and then you could still do a rematch at SummerSlam if you want. But I would like to see Shinsuke Nakamura win the United States title, have a rematch with Jeff Hardy on SmackDown, end the feud with him, and then go into SummerSlam to face another opponent. We also have the Intercontinental title on the line on the Raw brand. Champion Dolph Ziggler taking on Seth Rollins in a 30-minute Iron Man match. This is going to be great. I can't wait to watch this. Again, nothing extreme about this, but still, 2 great workers having an Iron Man match? Sure, sign me up. I'll be happy to kick back and relax and watch this match, but at the end of the day, no matter what happens in this match, I think Dolph Ziggler is going to retain. I don't know how they're going to do it, what kind of finish they're going to do, how many falls Ziggler and Rollins get on each other, but in the end, Drew McIntyre being the X factor there, I can see him maybe getting involved or doing something to where Ziggler can survive. and hang on to the Intercontinental title. And I honestly hope that happens. I know a lot of people like Seth Rollins a lot more than Dolph Ziggler, but I'd rather see Ziggler keep the belt. That way Seth Rollins can potentially move on to challenge for the Universal title. I think myself and a lot of us are still holding out hope that he can challenge Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. That would be an awesome match. That would be my pick above Roman, above Lashley, above anybody else. I would love to see Seth Rollins be the guy to dethrone Brock Lesnar after all this time. And if he loses the match here to Dolph Ziggler, that sets up the possibility of that happening. Not saying it will, but at least without Seth being the Intercontinental title holder and having a match with somebody at SummerSlam, he could potentially challenge Brock. So I'm still holding out hope that we are going to see that. We have both women's titles on the line as well. We've got the SmackDown women's title on the line. Carmella defending the title against Asuka. Of course, Asuka came up short at Money in the Bank, and the entire internet wrestling community completely shit their pants. And I defended it from the moment Carmella got that victory because I felt that Asuka, if you're going to give her the title, you have to have that on maybe a bigger stage, or not a bigger stage, but just on a card to where it's not going to go forgotten. And considering everything that we saw between Nia Jax and Ronda Rousey having her first singles match at Money in the Bank, and then Alexa Bliss winning the briefcase and cashing in, if you would have had an Asuka title change at Money in the Bank, it would have been diminished by all the crazy shit going on the Raw brand with their title. So I think this pay-per-view will be Asuka's turn. And I think Asuka will beat Carmella for the women's title. James Ellsworth, I'm sure, will be involved. Asuka might just kick his ass too. I don't know. She might wind up beating both of them. But I would really like to see Asuka be women's champion heading into SummerSlam, because I've been holding out hope ever since WrestleMania that we would get Charlotte and Asuka Part 2 at SummerSlam. Not really sure if that's going to happen or not. Doesn't look like they're really moving in that direction. Charlotte, as a matter of fact, I don't even think is booked for this pay-per-view. How crazy is that? When was the last time Charlotte was not booked for a pay-per-view? But I think Asuka should take the belt here and have a big-time match at SummerSlam against somebody. So hopefully I will be proven correct when I defended the Money in the Bank match, saying everybody just chill out, stop watching everything for what it is, and try to look at the big picture here, and Extreme Rules might be a better stage for Asuka to win the belt than Money in the Bank. And speaking of Money in the Bank, Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax have their match for the title, because Alexa Bliss stole the women's title during the Nia Jax and Ronda Rousey match at Money in the Bank. And considering Alexa Bliss won the briefcase and cashed it in such epic fashion and has only been champion for less than a month, I'm going to predict her to retain. I think Money in the Bank was all about the Raw women's title, so I think Extreme Rules should be all about the SmackDown women's title. So since I have Asuka winning the belt on the SmackDown side, I'm going to have Alexa Bliss retain here somehow. I don't know how she's going to wind up defeating Nia Jax or retaining the title or whatnot, but I would assume, and we have to almost guarantee, that Ronda Rousey will be involved in the finish here. Apparently she is going to be at Extreme Rules. I think she's even going to be sitting in the crowd. I think because of her suspension, she has to buy a ticket or whatever they're doing, so she'll be sitting there in the front row watching the match, and at some point she'll jump over the barricade and get involved, whether that's a DQ and they set up a three-way at SummerSlam, or whether she screws Nia Jax or screws somebody. I don't know what the hell they're going to do, but I would guess at the end of the day that Alexa Bliss, I think she's going to walk out of Extreme Rules still Raw Women's Champion. So let's go ahead and predict her to win there. Roman Reigns versus Bobby Lashley. This one is hard. I don't know what they're going to do here. The Universal title situation at SummerSlam is still very much up in the air. We don't know what Brock Lesnar is going to be doing. Right now, WWE is trying to act like he's not even going to be at SummerSlam, which I would bet my middle nut that he will be, and he will be defending the title against somebody. And if he does, Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley could serve as a number one contenders match in some way. The winner of this could just be awarded the title shot against Brock at SummerSlam, or Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley can continue their issue going into SummerSlam and have a rematch, which opens up the door for Brock to have a brand new challenger, Seth Rollins, for the Universal title. So as far as this particular match with Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley, given all of the things that we've seen between these guys in the past couple of weeks, having their tag team matches with the Revival, now the go-home show for Extreme Rules is tonight. And I mentioned in my last episode 507, 7 that I wouldn't be surprised if Roman Reigns winds up taking on the Revival in a handicap match or something. And if that happens, Bobby Lashley should show up and screw him. Or vice versa. Maybe Bobby Lashley takes on the Revival in a handicap match and Roman Reigns screws him. So I would really like to know what's going to happen on the Go Home show before I fully predict this match, but I think I'm going to go with Bobby Lashley here. I just think if Roman Reigns spears him and pins him, what do you do with Bobby Lashley moving forward? WWE wants to make this guy a big-time world title contender, and he's got MMA experience and a background, and he's got a great look, and he's a badass. He seems like a very likely opponent for Brock Lesnar sometime in the future. So beating him here, isn't going to do anything to build him up for a potential future match against Brock. Whether that happens at SummerSlam or later on in the year or next year in 2019, I have no idea, but I think a loss here to to Roman Reigns isn't going to do Bobby Lashley any favors at all. And I'm not saying it has to be clean either. Bobby Lashley might be able to score a quick one here on Roman Reigns, or maybe get an upset or a roll up or some shit like that. And it might be just enough to set up a rematch between the two of them at SummerSlam, especially if this thing gets even more heated and these guys start brawling and all that stuff. And they might wind up even having a gimmick match of some kind at SummerSlam, which I would really have no problem with because, like I said, it keeps both of them out of the Universal title picture and opens up the door for Brock to have a completely new challenger. So they could also have a multi-man match again. They could do Reigns and Lashley and Brock in a 3-way. They could throw Seth Rollins in and do a 4-way, although they did that last year at SummerSlam with the Universal title, so I don't know if they want to do that 2 years in a row. To me, everything is up in the air, and it's really hard to not predict Roman Reigns to win a pay-per-view match considering how WWE books him, but, he's lost to Brock, he's lost to Strowman, now he's in the ring with another big guy that's bigger than him and stronger than him, and I think he's going to lose to Bobby Lashley too. So I'm going to predict Bobby Lashley to get the victory here. And finally, in what might be the main event or might not, AJ Styles has not main evented very many pay-per-views as the WWE champion. He, of course, is defending the title against Rusev, and I don't see any way for AJ to drop this belt to Rusev. Rusev, I think, is awesome. He's hilarious. He's over. Everybody loves him, but I don't want to really see him win the title here, even though I'm very happy he's getting the title shot. And I had speculated in my last couple of episodes that it's possible AJ Styles could go on a really long title run here and potentially also break the run that CM Punk had a few years back. Brock Lesnar's Universal title run is already longer than Punk's, and a lot of fans hate that. Oh, he doesn't defend the belt as much, and it's the Universal title, and it doesn't count, and there's all these asterisks by Brock Lesnar's title reign. Well, what if they do it with AJ Styles? If AJ Styles holds the belt until the Royal Rumble, that means he will also break the run of CM Punk. So maybe in between that time, they need to line up some random pay-per-view victories here for him. And Rusev was kind of a random opponent, came out of nowhere, came out of left field. He won a match that had The Miz in it and Daniel Bryan and Samoa Joe. I thought all of those guys would get world title opportunities before Rusev did, but he was able to come out on top there and is able to challenge AJ Styles for the title. So yeah, I think AJ is going to survive this one. I think he's going to beat Rusev clean with a phenomenal forearm. I don't think he's going to tap him out. I think he's going to hit him with the forearm and pin him. And that could potentially even set up the split between Rusev and English. Maybe English jumps up on the apron or something and causes some sort of a distraction and accidentally fucks over his partner Rusev there, and then Lana returns and they kick Aiden English to the curb and they reunite Rusev and Lana. So that could be the fallout of this match with AJ Styles, but at the end of the day, I'm predicting AJ Styles to retain. If this match does not main event, I think we're going to go with Roman and Lashley. I think Roman and Lashley very well may main event this show, but considering that you have SummerSlam on the horizon and AJ Styles has not main evented pay-per-views with the title very often, I would prefer to see AJ and Rusev close the show here, but I would not bet on it. So that is your 9 matches that WWE.com has listed as of the weekend before the Go Home Raw. I would think there's probably 2 more. The problem is if they do this, we're now going to have 11 matches, and I know the pay-per-views are 4 hours plus the kickoff show, but one of these matches is a 30-minute Iron Man match, so that's going to take up a lot of time, especially if you add entrances and all that bullshit. So I don't know if there's any room to do the other 2 matches that we're all speculating that will be announced. One of those, of course, is Bayley and Sasha Banks. They've had their big implosion, and last week on Raw, they had their therapy session with Dr. Shelby. I don't know if maybe they will announce a match for Extreme Rules, because there is some bad blood now. You could put a stipulation on this, Falls Count Anywhere, or Street Fight, or whatever, between these 2 ladies, or they they could hold off this match until SummerSlam. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if we got Bayley and Sasha Banks in some sort of a stipulation match. And by the way, earlier on, I did not mention that Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax would be an Extreme Rules match. So that is the only extreme match that we really have booked for this pay-per-view. So maybe they add one more with Bayley and Sasha, and maybe they add another one with Strowman and Kevin Owens, because last week we saw Braun Strowman lock Kevin Owens in the shitter and then push it right off the stage, and he had that blue shit all over him when they pulled him out. And there has been some talk of them doing a cage match. We've heard those rumors in the past couple of weeks, so they could announce a match between Kevin Owens and Braun Strowman for Extreme Rules inside of a steel cage, which would be fitting because this is an Extreme Rules pay-per-view and you need some extreme matches, more than one that they only have announced right now. So a cage match is very likely, and it would tie in to everything they've been doing with Kevin Owens, running away from Braun Strowman every single week on TV. If he's inside of a cage, he can't run away. So if they are going to go with Strowman and Owens, I'm going to pick Strowman, of course, to win that match in the cage. And if they do announce the match between Sasha and Bayley, I think I'm going to predict Bayley in that. I really want to see Bayley, go the heel route. I just think it would be fun. I think of somebody like Sami Zayn, who we all looked at as somebody who could never be a heel, and he turned out to be a phenomenal heel. So I think maybe Bayley could do the same thing. So I think she's going to wind up beating Sasha, and Sasha is also a great heel. I guess I really don't care at the end of the day which one of these two girls turns heel, but I think it would be better and more fun if Bayley did it because it's something that we haven't seen before. So just to recap there, I'm going Finn Balor over Constable Corbin. I'm going with Woken Matt and Bray Wyatt to retain the tag team titles. Asuka to win the SmackDown women's title from Carmella. Alexa Bliss to retain the Raw title against Nia Jax. Shinsuke Nakamura to defeat Jeff Hardy for the United States title. Dolph Ziggler to retain the Intercontinental title in the Iron Man match against Seth Rollins. Team Hell No to win the SmackDown tag team titles. Bobby Lashley to defeat Roman Reigns. AJ Styles to retain the belt over Rusev. And if they go with the two matches that have not been announced yet, I'm predicting Strowman to beat Owens and Bayley to beat Sasha. So there you go. Like I said, I'm half-assing these predictions because we're still a whole week of TV away from Extreme Rules, and these are very early predictions, but it's the best I can do because I'm going on vacation. So that is it for me. My work here is done. This is the last thing I am recording for YouTube for about 9 days, and like I said, I'm scheduling everything to be released while I'm gone. So you guys take care and have a great week. Feel free to tweet me on social media, leave comments in this video, leave me comments on Facebook and all that stuff, and I will try to be very vocal while I am on vacation. I'll at least be tweeting some things and tweeting some thoughts, so make sure you stay tuned to social media if you want to hear up-to-date comments for me. In the meantime, check out the YouTube channel because every day while I'm gone, there will be uploads coming to the channel. Like I said, somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 or 12 videos will be released on the channel during the week of the 8th through the 16th. So thank you very much for listening. Thank you for being awesome. Thank you for being such awesome supporters. And thank you for helping me finally reach 20,000 subscribers on the channel, which we have recently surpassed. And if you have not yet subscribed, click that button, y'all. It ain't hard to do. I will catch you guys on the 16th after Monday Night Raw for a Raw stream. Until then, take care. Peace.